Hi everyone, it's me, Miles, at Teach Me Music Academy, and today we're going to be looking at two-hand coordination. So, the piano is quite unique in the sense that your two hands can literally play very, very different things. Now, if you take a guitar, yes, they are using two hands, but the two hands are sort of connected in terms of the sound because, you pluck a string here and then you have to press down on a fret, but on that string, right, to make a sound. So the two hands are sort of connected rhythmically, at least in that way, in a sense. Now on a piano, you only need one hand to produce a note, right? You just press a note down, and that's all you have to do. So that frees up our other hand to do the same thing. Right. The hands are not reliant on each other to play a note, if that makes sense. So because of this, we can really separate what we do. We can play a bass line in this hand, and and a completely different melody with different rhythms and everything in this hand. So we need to start practicing, getting used to using two hands. So how do we get started then? So an easy way to get started is to just use one finger on each hand and just practice different rhythms. Not worrying about, finger technique or anything, taking all of that away, and we're just worrying about literally the synchronization between your right and your left hand. So we're kind of being a drummer in a way, just for this lesson. So this is the exercise. Let's take a C in our left hand. Any C really doesn't matter. And then in our right hand, a C one octave higher. Okay, first of all, let's just see if we can play them at the same time together. So we're just going to do this in groups of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do it as many times as you need to until you feel comfortable and until you don't really need to think about it too hard, right? So it's second nature. In other words, it's being integrated into your muscle memory. When you're doing this one, make sure that you're not doing this, right? The hands have got to, the fingers have got to go down at the same time, not separate, together, like that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now make sure the rhythm is consistent, so every note length is the same, so not like this. Right, because that's like long note, short, 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 right? Or not like. Yeah, because that's not a consistent rhythm. We want 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, once you've mastered that, let's start separating the rhythm of the two hands then. So we're going to keep that consistent pattern of 4 in the left hand. Now in the right hand, just play one note for every 4 notes in the left hand. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So really the right hand is only playing on the 1, where the left hand is playing on every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And do that as many times as you need to until it feels comfortable. Now, the way I think about it is the left hand is doing the consistent rhythm, right? While the right hand is playing against that consistent rhythm. So the left hand is the hand that we need to almost put to the back of our mind. Right? Make sure you can do that without thinking about it. Almost like your hand's moving on its own. And it may take some practice, just doing that in the left hand on its own until it's consistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, put that to the back of your mind, forget about it, let your hand do the work. Then what you need to do is think about the rhythm of this hand, the rhythm that's going against the left hand rhythm, and play like so. 1, 2, Hopefully that helped. Let's try another one then. So let's double the speed of the right hand this time. Again, we're sticking with that consistent 4-note pattern in the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. But now the right hand's going to be playing 2 even notes for every 4 notes in the left hand. So that looks like this. Now the right hand is essentially playing half the speed of the left hand. So that means you're playing on the 1 and the 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. Once you're comfortable with that, let's swap the hands over. Okay, so now we're going to do a consistent 4-note rhythm in the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, practice that on its own, make it consistent, and make sure you can play it without thinking about it too hard, right? So it's like your hands doing the work for you. So if you can talk while doing this and keep a steady rhythm like I'm doing, you know you're ready to move on. So let's do 1 note in the left hand for every 4 notes in the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So playing on the 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, do that until it's comfortable. And then let's do 2 notes in the left hand for every 4 notes in the right hand. So playing on the 1 and the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now, don't expect to be mastering this as quick as I did just then, because I've already done this lots of times in the past. If you're only just starting, it's going to take some time. You know, every day you're going to have to practice this over and over again until you get it. And that's the reality of practicing an instrument. People say practice makes perfect, but really repetition makes perfect. And you've just got to drill it. You know, us musicians, we call it woodshedding. You know, the idea of you go to the woodshed and you sharpen your tools. That's what you're doing here. You're sharpening your tools. You've just got to keep going and going and going until, you know, it feels easy. So now let's make it a little bit more difficult. Now we're going to start playing uneven rhythms. We'll take an even rhythm in one hand and play an uneven rhythm in the other hand. So let's go back to that even 4-beat rhythm in our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's play on the 1 and 2 in the right hand. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? What else can we do? Let's move that a long one. Let's play in the 2 and the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now let's play in the 3 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, so you can see how you can move the same rhythm along the beats and you get a different effect. And then again, you can swap the hands over, play the consistent rhythm in the right hand, and then start on beats 1 and 2. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move it along to beats 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now move it along to beats 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So this is slightly more advanced now. If you're struggling with this, feel free to go back to the first one we learned, where you're playing even rhythms between the hands, and then go back to this once you feel more confident. Okay, and taking that one step further, you can even play on, for example, the 1 and the 4, right? So the notes aren't, right next to each other, right? You're missing 2 beats in between the 2 notes. So. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. way around. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. There you go. So if you got through that and you can do it now, well done, because it takes, like I said, a lot of repetition, a lot of hard work. So good job. Okay. And then I've got one more exercise for you, which is going to help you more specifically playing using all your fingers now. So we're taking the rhythm element and we're also using all of our fingers over that too. So let's get in C position in our both hands. If you're not sure what C position is, go and check out the finger techniques video where I'll explain that in detail. But basically, you're playing from C to G in the right and left hand on different octaves, of course. So it looks like that. Okay, 5-finger C position. Now, in your right hand, let's play a consistent rhythm. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just going to go up and down. Now, if you've watched the finger techniques video, you would have seen that we can play this with 2 hands at the same time, right? In octaves, 2 C's, 2 D's, 2 E's, 2 F's, etc., right, at the same time. That's practicing, you know, making sure that your hands are, each finger is synchronized with the other in terms of, you know, your right and left hand synchronization. But that's not really practicing rhythmic synchronization as well, because they're just, you know, they're going down at the same time, they're playing the same rhythm. So, what we're going to do now is slow down the rhythm of the left hand. Like this. So basically, every time you've completed the C position exercise going up and down in the right hand, and you get back to C, then you change your left hand note, right? So it's, in the left hand it's C, then D. So can you see every time I play, get back to C in my right hand, I'm changing the left hand note. C, D, E, F, G, and then you can take it back down if you want to. Okay, so let's use this Queen song, We Are the Champions. You can basically do the first bit of the melody in the right hand in just one position. So it's an easy one to do. So you could start with number 5 on C, like that, right? And the other fingers are going to follow on the neighbouring keys. And then with your thumb, I just want you to leave a gap for F and place it on E. Champions, my friend. Okay, so we're just going to have a look at that part, and we're going to have a look at the left hand to go with it. And this is a practical example of how this exercise is going to help you with playing a melody and held bass notes. Okay, so let's go back to We Are the Champions. So here's your finger position, and it goes like this. Right, if you want to actually learn that, pause it, go back, slow it down, whatever. Okay. And then in the left hand, the bass notes would be. Right, so you take similar position in the left hand, you know, C on top, so in the left hand it would be with number 1, and then place your fingers on each neighbouring note. Now this time we don't want to leave a gap on F. You can just keep your pinky on F here. So that's your left hand position. This is your right hand position. Almost the same, except for you're leaving a gap in the right hand, okay? So this is how it goes. Right? As you could see, my left hand was just holding those bass notes. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. right? Not very exciting on its own, but it's giving, like I said before, it's giving the melody some kind of direction. Oops. Okay, that's just an example, but like I said, if you do want to learn that, pause it, go back, you know, do whatever you need to do. But that's what you can start doing with tunes, you know, working out just a simple melody, having a look at the bass notes, and just playing single bass notes like that, and it sounds so much better than just playing the melody on its own, right? That sounds so much better, right? So there you go, that's just an example. So if you work on those two exercises I showed you, one note in each finger, you know, playing different rhythms, and then your C position exercise where you play just slow bass notes. Then that should give you a solid foundation. When you do start playing with two hands, you know, playing a melody and accompaniment, for example, you're going to be ready because you've already practiced it, basically. So yeah, make sure you practice that. You know, hopefully that helps you and you see some improvements. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.